there are certain rivers that God is going to put you through, but it is not for you to despise those rivers and say, I am better off. I would rather do something else than to find myself being put through such rivers. But keep in mind, the river is not meant to drown you, but the river is a means to your answered prayer. The path of least resistance, or the path that people take that has least resistance, it says that it has led many rivers and many men to be crooked. Greetings once again and welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you do not miss when a new video pops up, right? Now, keep in mind, guys, that we're now available on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Overcast, as well as on Amazon Music, and you can be sure to follow us there as well, right? Now, keep in mind as well that you are now available on YouTube, and this is to the podcast team. You can find us on YouTube at Ashley Cherere, and you can be sure to follow us as well on that platform. Now, today, guys, you are going to be talking about how cutting corners can lead to curses, or even cutting corners can lead to death, right? And today we're going to be saying that, in life, should you be a person that takes the straight road, or you should be a person that cuts corners? And that is what we're going to be talking about today, guys. So for you to find out, should you actually cut corners, or should you actually go in a straight way? That is what we're going to be talking about. For you to find out more, stick around. Now we're going to get our context for our message today from the book of 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 25, 26, and 27, right? Those are the three verses that we're going to be focusing on. So the following verses then read as follows. But he went in and stood before his master. And Elisha said unto him, Whence comest thou, Gehazi? And he said, Thy servant went no whither. And he said unto him, Went not my heart with thee, when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Is it a time to receive money, and to receive garments, and olive yards, and vineyards, and sheep, and oxen, and menservants, and maidservants? Verse 27. The leprosy, therefore, of Naaman shall cleave unto thee, and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence, a leper as white as snow. Now, as we just read, guys, the Bible then tells us that, as he went out from his presence, he was a leper as white as snow. Now, how did it get to this point, right? Now, if we look at the previous episode, and if you have not watched that, I'll leave the link right here so that you'll be able to watch it, right? But how did we get to this point? Now, remember on the previous episode, Naaman had come to Elisha, right, and say that he had a disease, he had leprosy, and then Elisha tells him, go to Jordan River and, wash yourself and all of that, right? And as he goes to wash himself and all of that is done, and now we come to the verses that we read. It says that as now he wanted to give thanks to Elisha, and Elisha says, you know what, do not thank me for anything, right? But rather, go your way and go in peace. So as Naaman goes his way, Gehazi then follows up and says, what? For me to miss such an opportunity to get such blessings, for me to miss an opportunity to get all these things that Naaman is offering my master. No, I'm not going to let that go, but I'm going to go after these things that Naaman is offering. So on the way, Naaman meets Gehazi, and as he meets Gehazi, he comes up to meet him and says, what is the problem? And Gehazi tells him his story and forms up his story and forms up his lies. And then in the end, Naaman decides to say, you know what, take these 2 talents of silver and also take these 2 camels, right? And then now when we come to verse 25, 26, and 27, when he comes back to Elisha, Elisha asks him, where were you? And then he says, me, I have not been anywhere. I've just been here. I didn't even go anywhere. Then Elisha then goes further to tell him that, you know what? Where you went, my heart went with you. Were you not there? My heart went with you when the master got off his chariot to meet you, and you took the things that you had taken. And when you go to verse 27, the Bible then tells us that the leprosy then went on him, and he left the presence of Elisha, a leper as white as snow. So what is our message for today? Now, our topic for today says that do not cut corners in life. Or rather, in life, should you rather be the one that goes in straight roads, or rather be the one that cuts corners? Now, when we look at the life of Gehazi, right? Now, Elisha had clearly said, do not go after these things, right? Do not go after these things. And he himself, he refused. But Gehazi thought, okay, if I can go behind my master's back if I can go behind my master's back, right, and I can go and obtain these things that my master is refusing, perhaps I will know he will not find out, and life is just going to go on as that, right? So a message to you today, right? So as you go on about your life, now another message before we go to our message today, guys. Now another message I just want you to keep in mind. You know, Elisha could have taken the things that Naaman was saying that he should take, but he didn't take them because credit was going to come to him, and credit was not going to go to God, which is God who gave him the power to tell him that, you know what, go to Jordan River and wash yourself and all of that. So in life as well, guys, remember we talked about it also on the other episode, that do not take credit, the dangers of taking credit or praise for the things that you did not do. And if you do not watch that, I'll leave the link right here so that you will be able to watch it, right? But for today, guys, it says that Gehazi decided to go behind Elisha's back, and he went and gathered all these things, you know, and got all these talents of silver and 2 garments and all of that, which was not even the full thing, because Elisha had brought even gold on top of that, he had brought silver, but he only got just but a portion. And that is the thing that you do, guys, when you go behind God's back. Right, in this instant, he went behind Elisha's back, but in this instant, you will be going behind God's back. You know, God says, this is my way, walk in this way, right? And you decide, okay, you know what, I think I'm just going to cut this corner, and I'm going to cut that corner, and I'm going to cut that other corner in order to get what I want. But we realize in here that these things have consequences to it, right? And the consequence for Gehazi was that his seed forever, guys, just imagine, the things that you do today affect not only you, but also affect the people that are going to come after you. Because what? Because of the poor decisions that you made today, because you cut corners and you went behind God's back, right? So as you go on about your lives, guys, just keep in mind, do not cut corners, do not go behind God's back, because there's nothing. You, in your eyes, you might look like, you know what, I've won, I've gone behind God's back, I'm a winner, I've done this, right? But we realize here that God sees everything, for we cannot hide anything from God, right? And when you come back to him and God asks us, so where did you go? We tried to tell him, no, God, you know, I was trying to mix 1 and 2 and trying to mix my own things, but God sees everything, guys. So in life as well, do not cut corners. And one author says that, you know, the path of least resistance, or the path that people take that has least resistance, it says that it has led many rivers and many men to be crooked, right? So this now leads to you also as well, guys, that when you take the path of least resistance, when you take the path of cutting corners and all of that, it will lead you to being crooked, because you take things that God said himself that you should not be taken, right? So that is just our message for today. Do not cut corners in life, right? For these things will one day catch up to you. And the sad part of all of this is that your decisions will not only affect you, but they are also going to affect the people that are going to come after you. How sad is that going to be? Just imagine the people, the generation that is going to come after you, who have mess and problems that they did not even cause on themselves, but they are suffering because of the decisions that you made today. So guys, as you go on about your life, just keep in mind, do not cut corners in life. In life, it is not about cutting corners, but do things according to what God wants you to do, right? And that is our message for today. Remember, life is not about cutting corners, but do things in the straight way that God has said you should do them. And that is the end of our message for today. May God bless you. Escape those limiting beliefs. Escape those limitations that they've placed for you, and they told you that these things you cannot be able to get them right. But I want to tell you today that with God, all things are possible.